Tiffany Chung, your go-to for all things marketing, mindset, and manifestation. I grew my online business from 0 to beyond 6 figures in 8 months. My purpose is to empower women to step into the highest, most aligned versions of themselves. If you are ready to take charge of your life, learn how to design a wildly successful business, and leave limiting beliefs behind, you've come to the right place. You will learn the actionable tips and step-by-step strategies on money, manifestation, and social media. It's time to step into your role as boss, to raise your vibration and tap into your unlimited potential today. Welcome to the Social Reset Podcast. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. I am so excited to be here after a series of interviews with my students, my Magic Mind students. It's been such an amazing couple of weeks, and it's also been really bittersweet because the previous round of Magic Mind just wrapped up. And we are starting a brand new round in May. We're starting together in May. And then moving forward, it's going to be a 12-month rolling structure, which I am so excited about. This has been some time in the making. I felt a nudge for this several months ago. And I just felt like it was time. And I really want to prioritize, really long-term relationships with my students that are all in, right? And I felt like Magic Mind needed to be a year-long experience. And so I've shifted it from 6 months to a year. And so everyone who's jumping in, we're all going to start together in May. And moving forward, if someone jumps in later on, say like in August, then your round would be from August this year to August next year. And I'm really excited about that structure and the new things that I'm bringing in, the deepening into the energetics and the magnetism and sovereign leadership. This is really, really, really my body of work. And Magic Mind is the way in which I am bringing it forward. I'm bringing it to life in this inner circle mastermind. And we're about to max out the spots. We have 4 left at the time of recording. And I know I'm already in conversation with some of you. So I am so excited to invite you into Magic Mind. If this feels like a fuck yes, if you are feeling aligned to a mastermind sisterhood community of women entrepreneurs who are ready to come together. You're on track for 6 figures, or you are growing to multi 6 figures, and you're claiming that as your destiny. You are claiming this as your legacy. I invite you to apply to Magic Mind. The application is in the show notes. It's also in the link in my bio. You could also just DM me and be like, hey, Tiffany, I'm thinking about joining Magic Mind. Can we talk about this? And I will say, absolutely. I love having those conversations and really helping you ensure whether or not it's a right fit for you. And if it's not a right fit, that's totally fine. Because here's the thing, I really want every single human in this container to be like, yes, I am such a match for this container. I couldn't imagine being in another mastermind. So if it's for some reason not an aligned fit, right? I honor your sacred no or not at this time. And that's really important to me, to really keep the integrity of this container, keep this energetic, the energy, right? Hold the energy of this container and what the spirit of Magic Mind desires, and the amount of people who are meant to be in here, right? And we're going to talk about that, all about that today, calling in high ticket soulmate clients. I'm so excited about this. And in the energy, in the era of calling in high ticket soulmate clients, I mean, that's essentially what I'm doing inside Magic Mind, right? And this is a true embodiment of that sovereign selling conversation, where we get to come together and we get to have this conversation about Magic Mind, about joining, investing in a high ticket container that is so transformative. It's a year long, right? So that's a commitment. That is a commitment, and it is allowing yourself to shift into, well, who do I get to be When I allow myself to make this decision and I invest in myself, right? And it's not even about me. That's one of the things I'm going to share today is it's not about, oh, my clients are investing in me, Tiffany, right? It's not about that. I see it as my clients are investing in themselves and their own transformation, their own business, their own movement. And when I focus on that and I focus on my movement and I'm calling their movement into my movement and we mesh together very well, AKA that's like the selling conversation in the DMs or a lot of my clients actually, we haven't even jumped on a sales call, very little back and forth in the DMs. They just know my work so well, whether they've been a part of my community for years or they just stumbled upon me that same week, right? They go and they binge my content, they listen to my episodes, and they're like, I have to be a part of this mastermind. I have to be a part of your world in this inner circle type of way. And I feel so I just feel so aligned to every single person who's in this container. I'm really excited to see who the remaining 4 students get to be, and perhaps that is you. If you are feeling the tap on the shoulder from the spirit of Magic Mind, go and apply. Even just answering those questions on the form will give you so much clarity on whether or not this is the container for you, right? And afterwards, we can talk about it. Um, we can talk in the DMs and I can share more details about what it would be like to be inside the container, some of your specific goals and intentions that you want to create, making sure that's all matched up to what we're doing inside this container. And I would love, love, love to mentor you inside this high ticket space. So, if you're feeling the call, if you are a spirit led coach, if you are a service provider, you are someone that is stepping into that multi six figure identity. And, perhaps you've been selling your one on one or your signature offer for a while, and it's kind of felt a little bit hot and cold. It's been a little bit like, oh, it works, but then it doesn't, like, really just dropping into that leadership where you are fully in your sovereign power, you're fully in your power, in your magnetism, and you are allowing yourself to be led by your inner guidance, be led by your own magic. And that is really the way to step forward into running your business, right? It isn't, oh, here's this one size fits all strategy that works for everybody. It's, oh, here's what I'm uncovering for my own energy, for my own business, for my own vision. And that is such a powerful way to run your business and to lead your life, right? Because as we know, it's business as the whole woman. It's not just this compartmentalized CEO that's in the cubicle that only thinks about business, that's only just like, oh, I can't have fun in my business. Like I just have to feed the machine, right? Those days are gone. Those days are long gone. So what is emerging is this embodied sovereign CEO that is the high priestess, that is, the queen of the empire, right? Of the dynasty, and stepping through and saying, "Oh, this is what feels aligned to me. This is what lights me up." And so I will go in that direction because it is calling me, it is beckoning me, right? And that is the way that you allow yourself to be seen and experienced as a leader, which is so uniquely powerful. All right. So if you're feeling aligned to Magic Mind, go ahead and apply. I'm so excited to see your application come through. If you want to DM and talk about it and just chat through, make sure that it's a really aligned fit for you. I'm more than happy to have that conversation. So DM me at tiffanychung.co and we can explore that together. All right. So let's talk about calling in high ticket soulmate clients. This is my favorite thing to talk about. And it's just funny because, I use, the phrase high ticket, which essentially is just like, if we're thinking about your product suite, and it's totally okay if you only have one on ones right now. But as you expand your business, you're going to have a product suite if you don't already. right? And so a lot of us listening, you likely have some lower ticket offers and you have some higher ticket offers. Your lower ticket could be three figures, it could even be four figures. And then your higher ticket could be, on the other end of four figures, or even five figures, or even six figures, right? So, just to give you an example of my own product suite, I don't have a, rolling membership or anything, but I have low ticket experiences that I offer frequently throughout the year, every single year since I started my business. These are master classes, either free or for a low ticket cost. I have done mini courses, which I would say is also on the lower end, right? I've done master classes at $33, and I just did a challenge for $33 for an entire month, right? I've done master classes from 111, 222, 333. Those are like lower ticket master classes or experiences or mini courses where something comes through and it's not a full-fledged program that's going on for weeks or even months. Typically when I do these things, it is a one time. Very rarely, I've done a couple of things where I just finished one that was a month, but I rarely do one that is, that's like ongoing for multiple weeks if it is lower ticket, unless it feels very, very aligned. I definitely have done that in the past. So it just really depends on what channels through, to be honest. And I let that, I mean, this is really why I say like my offers are my art. This is my artwork. This is my artistry. I'm not forcing it to be, oh, it has to be low ticket. So it has to be a one-time masterclass, and it has to be in this webinar format, and it has to be, $99, and I have to sell it in this way. It's like, I don't have that rigidity in my business. And that's the reason why it lights me up so much. And I feel so excited. I feel so inspired. I feel so turned on by it because it can look any way. I mean, the entire month of March, as some of you were a part of this, right? I ran the Try Witch tournament as an ode to Harry Potter, the Try Wizard tournament, and I ran it for an entire month. And I believe I did like 5 or 6 live calls. I did tasks, I did trainings, I did bonus points, I gave out cash prizes. Like, who does that? I did winners. I sorted everyone into houses, right? And so everyone based on your houses, and then at the house that won the most points at the end of the month, which by the way, shout out Ravenclaw, everybody won in that house. Everybody won a prize, every single individual. And I had so much fun with it. And I offered homework. And every time that you would submit homework, you submitted it through a form, and then you would gain bonus points that way. And on every single call outside of the house winners, I pulled individual winners, and they won prizes. They won readings and coaching calls and credit and all of these amazing things throughout the entire month. We had a Telegram group going the entire month, and I would drop in with sales trainings, and I would drop in with like little transmissions, and we would go back and forth, and I would do some coaching. And it was just such an amazing experience. And that was $33, right? I could have priced something like that at 333, even higher, right? Honestly, it could have been a four-figure investment based on the value that they were getting. If someone was plugging in from day one till the end of the month, I mean, that month could have and has completely transformed some of those students' revenue, cash revenue, their business. And so I just think that it isn't so much like, oh, low ticket, it has to be this type of pricing. It really is like, what is the value? So when you think about high ticket, and maybe you're only selling high ticket right now, which actually I highly recommend that. If you are just starting out and you would desire to build out a product suite, I would say start at the highest end first, right? It's a much harder to build out a, $22 membership and build your business that way versus starting with like a high ticket one-on-one coaching at three, four, multi four figures, eventually going into five figures. It's much easier to build your business that way. I started with one-on-ones, unless for some reason you have this huge inclination and this big, like, oh, I have to. I just like this course has been on my mind and I desire to build out this course, or like, oh, I need to build this membership out. I have to like bring this membership into life. Like I just have to, I have to, then and you need to do what you need to do because this is sovereign business, right? You listen to your inner guidance. But for the students who are like, I'm not sure, I don't know, I'm not married to anything, I'm like, well, just start with one-on-ones, right? And then you could build out your process that way. It's an easy way to build out your process because you're working with people one-on-one privately instead of just starting with an entire group or attempting to fill an entire group if you are starting in your business. So I do actually recommend for people who are starting out their product suite to start at the higher end and then fill out with mid and low as you go. So I started with high ticket one-on-ones. I mean, they weren't high ticket when I started. I mean, I started with charging like $200. But eventually, of course, it has grown and grown and grown and grown and expanded over the 4 years of me being in business, right? And so I started with one-on-ones and then I did group programs. And then I launched my signature course, Business Activation Academy. And then, in the midst of all of that, I did, like I mentioned, my virtual events, master classes, different challenges, things like that. And now I have a mastermind. So I would say my high ticket clients are my one-on-ones, which I really only offer like 2 spots a year. In fact, I'm not even taking in any more one-on-one clients right now. And if you are interested in working with me one-on-one, let me know and I'll let you know when a spot opens up later this year. But my high tickets would be one-on-one if we're counting that. And then my Magic Mind Mastermind is really my high ticket clients, right? That's my inner circle, close proximity mastermind. And Business Activation Academy, I would say, is more of my mid ticket. It's 55-55, whereas Magic Mind has now increased to $13,000. And there are payment plans for that. And it has kind of stretched out over a year. So that's made it, a little bit more flexible as well. And has created more recurring revenue for me as well, which is great. And so, yeah, right now it's like low ticket would be my masterclass, virtual events, and then I would have Business Activation Academy, and then Magic Mind Mastermind, and then if any spots are available, my one-on-one container. Right. So when I'm calling in high ticket clients, I mean, we could also group BAA into high ticket because 55-55, I mean, that's an investment, right? And for those who don't know, BAA is shifting into an all access year-long pass, which is essentially entry into my world. And I'm really excited to share how that is going to be shifting and the name of it and everything. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so much fun. And I can't wait. So if you are curious about that, or if you're thinking about joining in BAA before we shift over, AKA if you join now into Business Activation Academy, you are going to get access to the shift when it shifts over, and it's going to be at a higher price point. You're going to get an all access pass. It's not just going to be BAA, but you'll get lifetime access to BAA. It's going to be so good. So if you want to talk about that, DM me. If you've been thinking about joining BAA, now is really the time before we shift over. Price goes up, the name is changed, it shifts into my all access pass. It's no longer going to be known as BAA anymore. So I'm really, really excited. Everyone who's inside will get access to that shift for a period of time. And yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. So, yeah, when we're thinking about high ticket clients, high ticket soulmate clients, right? I really want you to consider these things. So, number one, and what I want you to think about is not so much like, oh, these are content pillars. And Tiffany's saying to share these content pillars. And so now I have to create a schedule and I have to talk about this and this and this. Like, I don't want you to think of it as like ways of grouping your content, right? Because the whole point of this is listening to your inner guidance and speaking from the heart, right? So it isn't so much like, let me group this into content pillars that I then need to bring into my Instagram. I want you to think of it more so as like, this is the diversity and the variety that I can share. And this is the way in which it can take form through these different elements, right? So, number one, what I really want you to think about is who you are being, right? Who you are being. And again, like, I'm an energetics business coach, right? Magic Mind is an energetics mastermind. And so I focus on the energetics because when you focus on the energetics and you allow the energetics to guide you, the motion, the strategy, everything that comes afterwards becomes so much more clear, right? It becomes so much more clear. It's kind of like, it just like reveals itself. It like uncovers itself, right? So, what I would love to see more of when you are calling in high ticket clients is who are you being, right? Who are you being? Like videos where you are just being. High ticket clients want to see you move through a range, a spectrum of emotions, right? So they want to see you lead yourself through something. They want to see you lead yourself through life situations and how you've led yourself in the past, right? So what the reason I bring this up, and I bring this up first and foremost before I go into the others, is because I think there's so much content already out there. I mean, we live in such a logical, wounded masculine society, especially around business practices, where we immediately go to, what do I do? What do I say? What's the framework? What's the three-star strategy? Right. And it's again, like there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But I believe your high ticket clients, especially if you're listening to this podcast, you're witchy, you're spiritual, right? You're so intuitive. You are so wise. You have such a deep connection to your inner guidance, right? I know you. And I know you because you all DM me and we have conversations in the DMs all the time. And you tell me about your thoughts listening to the episodes. And a lot of you are my coaching clients. And so I know you. I know that you want to go beyond the coaching industry. I know that you want to be seen as a leader. I know that you are so deeply spiritual and spiritual in the sense where you listen to your magic above all else, your connection to God, source, universe, right? Whatever you call it. Like there is a level of connectivity that goes beyond logic. And I know that about you. And so I want to remind you, and you already know this, or you already know this, right? This is not new information. You already know this, but our brain likes to go back to, but wait, isn't there some type of formula I should be following? Isn't there some type of, framework that I should be following? Step one, step two, step three. What exactly should I be saying? Oh, is there like a template where I can like plug and play? Like sometimes when we're not fully in our power and we are humans, right? We're human beings. So are we always going to be in our power? Not necessarily, right? It's going to ebb and flow just like everything else ebbs and flows, and just like everything else is cyclical, and everything in life, like the seasons and nature, it's all cyclical. Nothing is static. We're not always in our power, and just like we're not always not in our power, right? It ebbs and it flows, and sometimes we have to be reminded of our power. And I think that sometimes what happens is when we go to market, it's like we have this amazing coaching call that blows the fucking brain sockets out of our clients, right? Like I don't know, I don't know where that came from, but like we have these conversations, these coaching calls, right? And then it's like, wow, oh my god, I'm an amazing coach. Like this is amazing. I am literally a genius. Like they need to come and award me with something at my front door. Like I am literally like the bee's knees, right? And so we're like, wow, I'm amazing. And then we go to market, and then all of a sudden we turn into this robotic, okay, what is the formula? Okay, how do I write a caption? How do I fill out, a story series? And it's like, whoa, we just forgot about like the esoteric, like the amazing, incredible, mind blowing, like dimension shifting coaching call that we just had with one of our clients. And we go and feel like we need to message a certain way. Like, no, bring that energy from the coaching call and from when you are being yourself, your most aligned self. Bring that into your messaging, your marketing, your content when you're selling, right? Gone are the days where we have to shift into, okay, now I'm a salesperson and now I have to meet my quota and now I got to be that, like, sweaty car salesman that's like, oh, you want to buy this? Oh, well, why don't you look at this? Oh, what about that? Oh, what about that? Or you walk into a store and someone's like hovering over your shoulder and like, oh yeah, I have one of those at home. Oh yeah, that's really cool. Oh yeah, you might want to buy that. Oh, let me bring you over here. There's over there, blah, 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 blah. Right? It's like this graspy, desperate, needy energy that we feel like we have to shift into, which really repels a lot of spirit-led magical, magicians and witches and healers, coaches, in this, space, because they're like, oh, do I have to sell like that? I don't want to sell like that. And you don't have to, right? Especially when I talk about sovereign selling, right? And magnetism, you never have to sell like that a day in your life. I have never sent a single cold DM. I just surpassed $1 million in sales revenue, right? There are things that you never have to do. I just started running ads in my business, right? 4 years in, $1 million in sales revenue later. Like, there are things that you just do not have to do. And there's going to be someone on the opposite end saying you can only grow your business in 2024 with ads. You can only do this if you do that, right? And it's like, you have to learn to be able to identify, well, how can I do things differently? How can I allow myself to step into a reality, a space, a dimension where I'm listening so deeply to my inner guidance and just allowing myself to be? And that's what I'm talking about in this specific point number one, is who are you being? And is there an aspect of you where you are just being when you show up on stories, right? The best copywriting is when it comes from your voice, it comes from your understanding, it comes from your true, like, this is how you talk. This is how you text your best friend. This is how you text the group chat, right? This is how you show up and talk to your friends in person, right? That's how you show up. It's not like, oh, you're that person. And then on stories, it's like, hi, everybody. Welcome. Salutations. Okay, today we are going to go into this training, right? It's like you sound like a completely different person and you feel, and there's like, this feeling of, oh, I have to sound like this in order. And that's professionalism, right? And that stems from white supremacy and the other systems of supremacy that reign our society. And because of that, because of, these supremacy systems and because of capitalism, right, we feel like, oh, we're only worthy to make money if I shrink myself and box myself in and do these things I don't really want to do. I don't want to do it, but I feel like I have to, right? Like, I feel like I have to. I don't want to. I don't want to show up in this way, right? It's like, how many of us have gone to corporate or worked a 9 to 5, and once you step inside that office, you step inside that cubicle, you have to put this mask on. And it's not really who you are. It's not who you are when you leave here. It's not who you are on the weekends and with your friends and your family, but it's who you are when you pick up the phone and write the email and talk to your manager or talk to your boss. And maybe you even dress in a way that doesn't feel like you, right? You're in a way that is restrictive. You show up in a way that's like, you talk, you stop cursing, you stop using slang that is, like part of you, your culture, who you are, right? And it's like you dim yourself down in order to be accepted, liked, hired, etc., right? Those are systems of supremacy. And so, what I want to remind all of us as women of color entrepreneurs, right, as women leaders, we get to do things our own way, right? I want to see videos of you just being who you are, being crazy, right? Being this like out of the box, like, oh, I don't know who I am, right? Like, I am just like shifting all the time. I'm evolving. Oh my gosh, I'm a new person every week. Like, here's me, right? I want to see a video of you just like jamming out, going crazy. I want to see a video of you like out to dinner. I want to see a video of you like doing some crazy weird dance move, right? Like, I want to see you showing up in your element. I want to see you like twerking on stories, right? I want to see you, showing up in your element. What is your element, right? Is it like when you're playing with your kids and you're just goofing around, or you're with your friends and it's like a game night and you're just doing some crazy thing on the living room floor and everyone's laughing, right? Or is it like, you're really good at like imitations and like you love making everyone laugh and you love making everyone feel so comfortable, right? Or you are maybe like the introvert that you're like, I really enjoy just doing this. And you just like film yourself doing that, or you talk about it, you share about it, and you're like, I don't like going out on a Friday night. Like, this is my Friday night. This is what I'm doing. I'm at home and I'm reading a book and I'm cuddled up, and like, that's you in your element. It doesn't have to be this crazy, loud, energetic person, right? Like, I'm that. I'm also the person curled up on the couch going like, nobody talk to me, nobody text me, everyone leave me alone, right? Like, what do you enjoy? Are you a night owl? Are you an early bird? Like, what do you enjoy eating? What do you enjoy doing on a day-to-day basis? What is your morning routine? Like, what are things that are you in your element? And it isn't even necessarily these specific things. It's just like, can you move through a range of emotions? Can you move yourself through like, oh, this is who I am when I'm super lit up. And then also, here's who I am when I am moving through something and it's really testing and challenging and triggering me. And here's the kicker. This is what I want you to get from this number one point. And I know this is, this is going a bit, but this is so important, right? So number one is your high ticket clients aren't so worried about, seeing a mini training from you on your stories. They might love that. They might love that. Probably do. I still love like when people do trainings, right? But your high ticket clients, think about it. These are the people who are like, "Hey, I'm ready to drop 4, 5 figures into working with you, and I know you're the mentor for me." These are people who are at the top of their game, and they're not just starting out. You don't have to explain anything to them. Right? Like, I don't have to go in depth on like, energetics and magnetism. I might clear some things up. I might have some back and forth conversations with them. I might help them understand what it means to them, right? But like, I never have to talk to my high ticket clients about like, hey, Magic Mind, here's why you want to make multi six figures a year. I will never have that conversation. Everyone in there already wants to make multi six figures a year. Right. So that is essentially like, what are the prerequisites to your high ticket client behavior and energy? Right. For me, it's like inside Magic Mind, it's just like, you are not only saying yes to working with me, you're saying yes to a sisterhood, right? You are saying yes to a community that you come into, and everyone in that community is listening to their inner guidance and their inner magic. In fact, I even say it on the Magic Mind application form. You are here to pull from your own magic, your own guidance, your own wisdom, and not mine, right? Yes, I'm a facilitator. Yes, I am the mentor. Yes, I am the guide, right? Yes, I will coach your face off on anything you want coaching on as many times as you want coaching on it. However, at the end of the day, you are the one to make decisions. You are listening to your own magic. You are listening to your own guidance. I make that very clear because there are some containers where you are taught to listen to that leader and follow their one size fits all protocol, right? And to do things in a very specific way. And I want to make sure my students know that that is not this container. That is not Magic Mind. That is not what we're doing here. Right. And so when I call in clients, I call in clients who are not looking for a one size fits all formula. They're already looking for a container that really honors their sovereignty, their autonomy. Maybe they've been in containers where they haven't felt their most empowered, right? Maybe it felt very, very much like wounded masculine business practices, outdated practices that they're no longer aligned with. And so when they find Magic Mind, I desire it for them to be a really sovereign decision where they're like, oh, I'm coming home to myself, right? It isn't even about me. It isn't even about like, I found Tiffany, right? Even though that might be a part of it. But ultimately, I want them to be like, wow, I have come home to myself, to who I truly am, my truest self. I want it to be my clients making an investment on their own transformation. That's something that's extremely important to me. So when I show up in my being, and I just talk the way I talk, I curse, right? Like you all know I curse like sailor. I show up, I'm dancing, I'm twerking, I'm doing my like I post like sensual videos, I take pole classes, I take dance classes. I am just being myself. I'm just being who I am, right? And it's like they're so there's so much embodiment in that, that it's not even about what you're talking about. That's why it's like content prompts, plug and play templates, and you follow this strategy. It's like you're following someone else's strategy, but it's like this morning you just had, a really challenging morning, and it was really hard, and you walked yourself through it, and just talking about that and just letting your people know, hey, I was like, I thought I was going to have an amazing weekend. And all of a sudden, this thing came through. And then here's how I walked myself through it. And then I did this. And then I did that. And then I blah, 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 blah. Right. It's like, there's no prompt for that. You're just sharing what's on your heart because that's what's alive for you in that moment. You just had a hard morning. You just want to bring it to your people and say, here's how I moved myself through it. Right. Share that empowerment. Right. Share from that space of like, this is who I am and this is what came up and I'm human and here I want to show all of you, right? Or like, something that you talk about a lot and maybe something happened where you're like, oh, this really made me question whether or not I am like a great leader. I moved through this and this, and here's how I got through it on the other end, right? So many of you listened to my episode on where I feel like my not this launch, but like the launch I had last year for my last round of Magic Mind was like coming to be like one of my worst launches ever. And I talked about that story. I was really vulnerable about it. And I was like, here's what had these people who said yes and they fell through and then it didn't work out. And then all of these things, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, at one point I was like, is there just going to be one person in this container? What am I going to do? Right. And then I turned it around and it was a $70,000 launch. Right. And it's like, here's how I'm showing you and leading you through this process of how I've walked myself through this. And that is such a powerful way of showing up in your business, right? It's such a powerful way of being seen and witnessed. And your high ticket clients don't need mini trainings and they don't need like these little things that are like following the content prompts and strategies. Again, nothing wrong with that. But what ultimately they need is to see you in your element, to see you being who you are, right? Creating the shifts, creating those magical effects of like, here is how I'm moving myself through this, like sharing your personal stories, being a storyteller, becoming an amazing storyteller and utilizing that to connect with your community, right? How have had they seen you move through a spectrum of emotions? Because when they see you move through a spectrum of emotions and they see you do it, right? And they see you be human, it gives them this permission that I feel like everyone is subconsciously seeking, this safety that, oh, this person can move through this range of emotions. That means they can guide me through that range of emotions as well. Right? If they can do it on their own, they can guide me through it as well. Right. And there's a reason I've never hired a mentor that has had this, doesn't show their face, doesn't have this perfectly aesthetic, like this perfect aesthetic feed. Right. Like I don't care about any of that. I don't care about the aesthetics. I don't care about how your feed looks. I don't care about how branded everything is. I'd rather see humanness. I would rather see you show up in your entirety as all of you. In fact, if I'm seeing way too many Canva branded fonts and carousels and everything looks super organized and put together, and I see you, but you're maybe only smiling and you have a mask on, and I don't see you in your emotions and sharing stories and really bringing me in and letting me feel your heart, like I am not hiring a mentor like that. I don't want to work with someone who I feel like on the outside is like an influencer, right? Is like, oh, they're just sharing all of the highlights of their life and they live this perfect life. I can't work with a mentor like that. I want to work with someone who has brought themselves through the highs and the lows and the challenging moments and the heartbreak, right? You figure out who you are through heartbreak, through grief, through sadness, through dark nights of the soul, through evolution, right? I can only ever work with mentors who have led themselves through multiple past lives and evolutions, right? And they know who they are through all of it. They've been through heartbreak or divorce, right? They've been through separation. Maybe they're a single mom, right? It's like, I want to work with someone who has gone through the shit, right? And again, I say this all the time, but it doesn't mean sharing everything. You don't have to share everything. That is not a prerequisite to having a successful business. That is not what this is about. It's about sharing the pieces of you that really reveal what is alive and on your heart right in this moment. And if you allow yourself to be guided through in that way, people will feel your heart and people will feel your energy, right? And they will immediately, right? That's magnetism. They will immediately be magnetized to your energy and to the way that you are showing up so powerfully, right? And you allow yourself to really be taken in by, wow, this person has such a spectrum of life experiences that they've gone through. This is also why I'm not impressed by certifications. If you have a wall full of certifications or degrees or all of these things, it's like, that's not what this is about. How have you led yourself through life? How have you led yourself through who you are being? The leader that you are now, how have you gotten there, right? It's not about the certifications. It's not about like all the things that you have, certified in and gone through these programs. I mean, I've gone through so many. And at the same time, it's like when I share a story of how I moved through being a single mom that was on food stamps and struggling to put food on the table, and then I went from that to creating $1 million business, or I went from that to like healing heartbreak, and I went from that to finding my power and realizing that like my shame is like the source of my shame is actually the source of my greatest power, and recognizing that and sharing those stories and that way of connection with my community has been the most profound and the most powerful, and will trump any type of, oh well, Tiffany's been through this program and Tiffany's done this and she's gotten this, like that. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't, right? Or like, oh, she's worked with this mentor, she's worked with that mentor. I mean, it's like, how can you lead yourself through these powerful life experiences and showcase them? How can you showcase who you are, who you're being, right? That is number one. And that is honestly the most important one, right? And then number two is in a way similar, but it has to do with your brain, and it does loop back into, what I was talking about earlier about like sharing trainings, right? And sharing those more tactical experiences as well, right? It isn't that one is better than the other. It's about, like I said in the beginning of this episode, a variety, a dimensional experience of you, right? Eventually, what you want to share is you have all of these ways of connecting with you and plugging into you and your world, that it allows you to be seen as this multidimensional leader that is able to move through the spectrum of emotions, move through these life experiences, move through these life stories, and be able to blow your brain and be able to give you these trainings and be able to share your signature proprietary method, right? Like that is truly those keys of an influential leader. So, what would it look like? What would it look like to share how your brain works? Is there a crazy connection that you make in your head when you process something, right? Like, so say that you are Let's say that you are a life coach, all right? General life coach, you kind of coach on anything you desire. And you came up with this process of like, teaching your clients how to self-coach themselves. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is like the process. I teach all of my students this. I came up with it on my own, right? Like, what would it look like for you to share that on your stories and be like, hey everyone, this is my method. This is my method to self-coaching or to regulating yourself, or this is a signature embodiment practice that I created, right? Or this is like a signature way of like looking at your astrology chart if you're an astrologer, and look at this and this and this and this, and then you find out this and that, right? It's like, what are those signature things from your teachings, from your coaching that really allow you to be set apart? That is the main thing here. How are you being set apart from other people in this field? That not it's not about like, well, I'm different because XYZ, and that's why, like, yes, there should be a level of like, I'm the best in this because, right, from an empowering place, not from a like, oh, let me step on other people, or I'm like it's like an ego trip and I'm better than everyone else. That's not what this is about. It's about like, oh, I'm so empowered in this. I just know that what I can do is so powerful, right? And you share your signature process. You share how this is just like, this is mind blowing, right? Like, oh, I have this process and it gets you. I walked myself through it, right? Maybe you're a relationship coach and you teach healing through breakup, and you have this amazing process. You have this amazing method that's like, oh, I went through the worst breakup of my life. And I just felt so lost and so alone and so betrayed. And these are the things I did. Here's my process. I'm sharing it with you. This is my signature thing, right? And you share it with your people, and it's not so much even the method, it's more so about here's how my brain works. And it's not about like, well, here's how my brain works, and here's how it's better than everyone else in the industry. It's like, you're not even saying that. You're letting it speak for itself. So when I talk about Magic Mind, I'm very rarely like, um I very rarely say things like, there like, you've probably been to so many masterminds where you felt so disempowered and blah, blah. Like, I don't talk about any other masterminds really. I might talk about specific methods, right? Like wounded masculine tactics, outdated sales strategies, right? Because I think that's really important, but I'm not naming anything. I'm not putting anything out there, right? I'm just saying like, hey, this is a fully energetics mastermind. There's no one size fits all. You're listening to your inner guidance. You're listening to your magic. We're coming together as a sisterhood. This is my inner circle, close proximity mastermind. I only want it to be a fuck yes for you if you are joining, right? So even just saying those exact words automatically puts me outside of the realm of what other business masterminds provide. And I mean, vice versa, right? Like, if someone's joining a very strategic masculine mastermind, they might say like, oh, this is a mastermind where like you are being consulted by the leader and you're expected to listen to the coaching from this main facilitator, right? Which might be something that some masterminds would enclose when you're applying. And so automatically they put themselves in this realm of a mastermind that there might be certain people looking for something like that specifically, right? And so when I share things about Magic Mind, it's not about any other mastermind or any other leader. It's about like, I'm standing so strong in my own energy and in the energy that Magic Mind is in, that naturally the people who are a good fit for Magic Mind, which is why I don't really have to do a lot of like, I don't really have to send a lot of people away, right? I really don't. Like, I most of the people who apply and who inquire about Magic Mind, as soon as I'm reading their application, I'm like, oh yeah, they're such a great fit. They're so in alignment, right? I like, they know, my students, my community is so smart. They're so wise. They know, right? They just know. And So I think that that's a big part of like me sharing how my brain works and how I think like this is both brain and this is energy. It's like the energy of the container. And at the same time, let me show you how my brain works within these specific processes, right? That's one of the biggest things that I've seen is like, I love that, like, when I'm hiring a mentor, like, I love their energy. I love how they show up. I love how they lead themselves. And at the same time, I love the way that their brain works, right? They talk about sales, but yet they talk about sales in this way that I've never heard it before. It completely blows my mind. Like, I literally had someone join Business Activation Academy, and he is, a bit older than me, and he's not necessarily my, like I like, not he definitely is an ideal client, but, like, not how my ideal clients normally would look, right? I normally serve, women of color who are around my age, who are, just, like, doing specific things, and he's, a bit older, he's a white male, and he's married, and he has kids, and it was just so interesting to see. He was like, Tiffany, I've never heard anyone talk about sales in this way. And granted, I have worked in businesses. I have been, I've been a part of, I've done sales for a long time. I've done so many sales trainings over the decades, and I have been to so many sales conferences. And I have never heard someone talk about sales the way you talk about it, And he was like, Tiffany, I have $5,000 burning in my pocket, and I want to join Business Activation Academy if you'll let me. I'm like, oh my God, of course. Like, of course. Like, yes, yes, yes. Like, I'd love to have you. It was just such an amazing experience for me and for him, and the mentorship relationship that we're co-creating right now, which makes me so happy, right? Because it's like, that's not typically who I speak to, is like, white males that are, a little older than me. Like, I typically don't speak directly to that demographic, and yet he was able to find himself in like, he joined my mini course, right? And then he joined BAA off the back of that. And he was able to find, that safety and that ability to be like, yeah, I feel so aligned to this. Like, I love this, right? And I was like, wow, this is so great, right? That, like, it is beyond what you can even expect when you are sharing from your heart and you are sharing your magic, and the community has welcomed him with open arms. Everyone in BAA, if you're in BAA, everyone's just so sweet, so welcoming, so loving, like, really goes out of their way to make you feel so comfortable and celebrated. Like, I couldn't have created a better community if I tried. Like, I'm so grateful for the BAA community. And yeah, I just love you all so much. And yeah, and that has to do with, like, I'm just sharing how my brain works. Like, I have another BAA student, actually. We connected, years ago, and she was like, Tiffany, I just saw the way that your brain works. I was doing a guest coaching call in another program that we are both a part of, that I was asked to be a guest coach on. So I was guest coaching for the call, and I was coaching these people. And I'm not even sure if I specifically coached her. I don't think that I did. But she was like, I just saw the way that your brain worked, and I knew I wanted to be around your brain. And that's what she said to me. And I was like, wow, I was like, this is amazing. Like, I love that. I didn't even do anything. And that's true magnetism, right? When you're calling in, when we're talking about energetics, when we're talking about magnetism, it really is like, it really is this aspect of effortless attraction that is so deeply powerful, because you're not forcing it, you're not pushing it, right? You're not grasping for it. It's happening so it's happening so effortlessly. And that's because you are a match for it. This is just who you're being, which leads me into my third point, which again is we've touched on this a little bit, is how can you show up as a human and share in a way that has nothing to do with business, right? How can you share aspects of who you are as a human being that have nothing to do with you as a CEO? And of course, everything's all connected, right? everything's all connected, and who you are in one aspect. I see myself as like the CEO and the mom and the woman and the human and the dancer and the all of these things, right? Like all of it in one. But at the same time, it's like when you step away from your business and you're off doing something that has nothing to do with business at all, right? It's like different from like, oh, who you're being on a coaching call. And then you bring that into your marketing and you bring that into like the way that you show up and your copywriting sounds, just the way that you would speak regularly. This is a little bit different in the sense that like I'm telling you to market by not marketing. I'm telling you to market by sharing like a day out with your family on a Saturday and just sharing random thoughts that come to you. Like you just like this is just something that came to me and I'm just going to share it with all of you. Like have you ever experienced blah 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 blah. And sometimes it's the most random things that have nothing to do with business. It's not even like you and your element, you and this coaching call and then you bring it on Instagram and you go on stories and like that's number 1, right? That was my number 1 point. This is my number 3 point, which is like just be a weird human. That's number 3. Be a weird human. I promise you it works. The things I've gotten the most responses to, you will never even guess. There's no content prompts for this. No one has ever told me, like, Tiffany, go and buy that fucking pie face game and get like slammed in the face with whipped cream by your 9-year-old daughter. And that spurs like tons of conversations and DMs and like laughing emojis in the DMs with my community, right? Or like a conversation I had with one of my friends who I know, we go to dance together. She was like, I love that you do that with your daughter. My mom would have never done something like that with me growing up. You're such an amazing mom. I really look up to you. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I just got slammed in the face with whipped cream and you're telling me I'm a great mom? Like, thanks. Like, right? Like, it's just these connections that other people make to us that we could never imagine that they would make. Right? It's like the things that we think that people would not care about, or it's like, why would I want to share this? Why would people care about this? It's those things right there that really stay in our minds. Think about the either influencers or entrepreneurs, or maybe you watch like reality TV shows. Think about the things that you've seen people do or say, or like the little quirks, right? The little things about them that you're like, oh, I do that too. Or maybe you don't even do it, but you're just like, that's really interesting. That's so funny, right? Like that is something I've never seen before, right? Like it just intrigues you, right? It might have nothing to do with you. It doesn't even have to do with relatability. It's just like, oh my gosh, this person is weird just like me and I love it. I love it. It's so funny. Like that just makes me feel so much more connected to them. And I truly think connecting with your community has nothing to do with talking about business. It has nothing to do with like business trainings, which was number 2, right? And it's like the way that you just show up in the world as a human being, right? The way that you're just like weird and the specific weird things that you do. Like, I love that. When I was hiring for my online business manager, one of my questions on an assessment project that we did that I offered to everyone who got to a certain level of the application process, the hiring process. I not made, I asked them kindly to make a Loom video about the quirkiest things about them. And I mean, this didn't really have anything to do with like how hireable they were necessarily, but it was like, is this someone that I can see myself working with, right? Is this someone like the same kind of weird as me? Right? Like, what are the things that they consider weird? What are the things that they consider quirky? Right? And I just thought that was such a fun thing. It was like a bit of an icebreaker, but it was also like, I'm curious, like, what do you all have to say? And I got some of the coolest videos. And it was really fun. It was really amazing. And I think that there's something about us as humans that we desire to be around the same types of weird people. Right. And I think that that makes it so much more exciting and so much more fun. And so let your weird out, right? In the world of like school and college and education and corporate, where we've been told to keep the weird in, let it out. Let it out in entrepreneurship, right? This isn't just about financial freedom. This is about liberation of your soul. This is about the liberation of who you are being and who you are and who you came here to be, right? So, all of the weird and wacky things that you have been told, like, don't do that, that's not ladylike, right? I grew up in a Chinese conservative traditional home, right? If I laughed too loud, I was in trouble. I was never allowed to go to sleepovers. I couldn't go to school dances. I wasn't allowed to see my friends. I couldn't really do anything other than homework. And then I had extra activities on top of that where I had to prep for SATs. Ever since I was a child, I was in math and supplemental learning programs on the side, even if I was doing well in that subject, right? Everything had to do with education. Everything had to do with like math and getting better and all of these things, excellent grades, straight A's, right? My whole life kind of revolved around that. I could never really play. I It was just like that was my childhood, right? And so like allowing yourself to show up like I was told that I was too loud, I was not ladylike. Like boys don't like that, right? Men don't like that. I have to act a certain way, I have to be a certain type of person, right? And so like even my tattoo sleeve is it's like a symbol of the liberation because my mom told me like if you ever get one tattoo, I'm going to disown you, right? Like I'm going to kick you out of the house, right? And she would threaten me with that all the time because I would always draw all over myself in pen. I would draw all over myself and I would just like fantasize about getting tattoos. And so my tattoo sleeve is a symbol of that liberation, of that freedom of like this is my body. I can make the choices for myself. I can listen to my own inner guidance, and it doesn't have to be connected to anything. Like I can just do what I desire to do. Right. And I want you to feel that same freedom in your business, in the way you show up in your life, and let that lead and guide you. What would it look like if you lived a life that was fully led by your liberation? Okay. That's what I want to leave you with, like your soul being fully liberated. All right. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Um, I know this is a long one. We always typically tend to go long. Like I just can't do like a 10-minute episode, but I think that's for the best, right? Because this is me being in my element. And I know that it is so powerful to really receive when someone's in their element and to soak up all of that goodness, all of that juice. So, again, if you are desiring to work with me and you have been selling your main offer and you've been working with clients for a while now and you're desiring to really take that to the next level and you are desiring to step into a sisterhood, a mastermind where you are celebrated and you are held and you are witnessed and you are in a space where you are fully free, right? You are fully liberated. Join us inside Magic Mind Mastermind. This is a feminine led, intuitive led container where you step into your highest power, where you strip down all those layers from conditioning and outdated narratives, and you come home to your truest self, your truest way of being, right? And you lead your business from that place. You lead your business from that place of power and from that place of purpose where nothing comes from supremacy systems and outdated stories and things that you tell yourself you have to do, you should do, you must do. It comes from this inner guidance, this place of power, this place of, oh, this feels so aligned to me. And I get to listen to my body and I get to honor that so deeply, right? Like that is such a powerful way of running your business. It's such a powerful way of being as a leader, right? And we're talking about magnetism and energetics and sovereign selling, right? And being that magnetic woman instead of just a good girl coach. Right now, you are the magnetic, embodied, sovereign woman leader for your people, for your community. You're not just building a business, you're building a movement. This is a worldwide movement that you are leading. And I want to help you get clear on your messaging, making shifts so that soulmate clients are popping out to work with you. I want to help you guide you to your energy, to your wisdom, to your magic, and really show up in a way that is in most alignment to you and your deepest purpose here in your business. Your business is an extension of your greatest purpose. I really want to help you shift into that highest timeline so you can create everything that you desire in your business and in your life. And I want to do it in this inner circle mastermind. Again, we have 4 spots left at the time of recording. So definitely DM me. We start in May. So we've got a couple of weeks left, but if you DM me now, I will make sure to get you in. And I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait to continue expanding this conversation, right? I can't wait to welcome you into this amazing container. So send me a DM. The application link is also here in the show notes. You can sit with that. And I love you. I can't wait to see them come through. If you feel like you're a better fit for Business Activation Academy, you're more in the beginning of your coaching journey and the start of your business, launching your business, Business Activation Academy is truly the best academy. It's the best course. It's my signature course for you to launch your business successfully, sustainably, joyfully. I teach you how to uncover your magic and design your offer, how to package up an offer and price it. How long is it going to be? Who are you going to serve? How do you talk about it? How do you talk about your offer online and articulate what it is that you do, right? Your coach title, who you are, your magic, all of these things that are a little bit more on the masculine side of like pricing, when to raise your prices, how to work with beta clients, how to call in beta clients, how to call in soulmate clients, how to conduct a sales call. When you're creating magnetic messaging, what does that look like, right? All of these things are included inside Business Activation Academy, inside 6 full modules that come with live coaching calls bi-weekly. And like I mentioned in the earlier part of this episode, Business Activation Academy is shifting into my all access pass, which is going to be 12-month access. And if you jump in now, you'll get access when that transition happens, meaning you'll actually get access for a little over a year. So you'll have access to BAA while it's still BAA. And then when it shifts over into that all access pass, you will get access to that as well, which is going to give you access to the live programs and courses that I run. And I'm so, so deeply excited about that transition, about this evolution of Business Activation Academy. What is in alignment for you is in alignment for everyone around you. And I can't wait for this to impact my students even deeper. So if you're unsure about which one to join, or if you have some questions about either BAA or Magic Mind, definitely just send me a DM. I love having these conversations. I love sending voice notes. I'm more than happy to connect with all of you and just see and share how we can work together deeper, how I can support you. So send me a message on Instagram at tiffanychung.co and I will connect with you there. And if you're already feeling like a fuck yes, the links to BAA are below and the link to apply to Magic Mind is below in the show notes as well. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you so much, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If this episode resonated with you, please take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at tiffanychung.co. I truly appreciate interacting with every one of you. Catch you all on the next one.